Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So, James Comey is making his rounds. He's hawking a book. Like everybody else who's hawking a book, they go from place to place to place to place, telling you about how awesome their book is and why you should buy their particular book. Now, we know James Comey for being the guy who stands up and tells a large group of people who are waiting with bated breath that for whatever reason, he's decided to change the definition of intent and allow Hillary Clinton to walk. Now, everybody is shocked by this. And they're shocked by the in fact, you know what? Let me show it. I like to show this video as often as I could possibly show this video because this video is mind-blowing to me that... I'm not going to show the video. That's too much of a tangent. Too much of a tangent. I would say this. I will show it on one of my other clips. But Comey changed the definition of intent. And within a few days after Comey changing the definition of intent, saying that there is no FBI agent that will bring a case like this, there's no prosecutor, you find Brian Nishimura, who's locked up for the exact same thing that Hillary Clinton was being charged with. Comey lied. It becomes this interesting question of why did Comey lie in order to get Hillary Clinton off? Well, I say that to say that he runs into a buzzsaw of Meghan McCain. And listen to the way that she comes across going after him. Here's the thing. People think that The View is safe territory. These women are so nice. They're so pleasant in their demeanor. They're just sitting here talking about this and talking about that. You have a buzzsaw on either side of the political divide. Either Meghan McCain or Whoopi Goldberg or Joy Behar. Mind you, Joy Behar is the one screaming, yes! The President of the United States is going to be convicted of a crime. Yes, he's going to be impeached. We're going to get Mike Pence. That's what I wanted as a liberal. Mike Pence. Yes. And then they retracted the story a few days later. In which case, I would imagine you had to rewind all of that. I don't know how you rewind all of that. That being said, Meghan McCain takes a buzzsaw to James Comey. Let's take a look. Couldn't happen to a better person as far as I'm concerned.
Well, can I interject on that? Because I want to believe you're not a political person. You're the head of the FBI, but you write in your book about how you went to President Obama and you were on the verge of tears, saying you were going to miss him. You also said that you were dreading the next 4 years with Trump. You said very incendiary things about my party this morning. It doesn't reflect all values. It's transactional. It's ego-driven. It's in service to his ego. I'm a Republican who has many issues with Trump. That is not reflective of my party as a whole. The big issue I have is I don't want to know your politics. And a lot of the things you're saying and doing are highly political. And I just don't understand what you gain trying to sort of clear the deck here by bringing things like this up.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think of it as my politics. I think of it as my values. I mean, what I missed...
Your wife, and you talked about in George Stephanopoulos how she was at the Women's March and she was very sad on election night. Sure. And,
but
you know, but why bring up politics now? No disrespect, but what your take on the current Republican Party is, I'm more interested in what you know about national security.
I brought it up because I was asked about it.
I know, but I don't. But you have to understand how this looks to Republicans.
Yeah.
Okay?
I get that. I think that's a good question. I get that the Republicans are thinking that, but in the book, I'm telling a story about the decisions and including lots
I'm talking about your interview this morning. I'm ego-driven in service to Trump's ego. It doesn't reflect values at all. I just don't understand why you're so you sound like a political commentator to me more than
I don't mean to be. I don't care whether people support a Republican or a Democrat, because I'm not either. I don't care who they support. I hope the conversation will start with values and come to policy second, because we're always going to fight about guns and taxes and immigration. But all we are as this country is a collection of values, and that's what unites Republicans and Democrats. And I hope that's not a political statement.
And did you talk about...
I gotta be honest. I don't believe Comey is not a political actor. I don't know how you lie in the way that he lied about letting that woman off the hook. I strongly suspect that what Meghan McCain is getting at is not so much that people are attacking her party about values. It's how on earth did you let that woman walk, knowing all the things that you know. And to be very clear in an example, don't take my word for it. I wasn't planning on showing this, so it wasn't up. But right here. All right, take a look at this. This is a video with Trey Gowdy essentially cross-examining James Comey about Hillary Clinton. This doesn't even go with the intent part. This goes with something else that Trey Gowdy is getting at and eviscerates Comey's narrative of this. And it's like at the end of it, you're like, well, wait a minute, how did you let her off? If everything that he just asked you is true, and you agree that everything he asks you is true, and yet you still let her off. That's what I strongly suspect that Meghan McCain, that's the thing in her craw. That's the thing that bugs her. I would imagine that bugs a lot of Republicans. How do you have any integrity whatsoever, and you let that woman walk? And you're talking about values. Values, my ass. You had a political dog in the hunt. That's what she's getting at. You had a political dog in the hunt, and you let that woman walk, knowing that woman was running against Donald Trump, and you hated the fact that Donald Trump won the election. Call it what it is. If you want to call it values, and so my values exceed the United States law, exceed my role in this particular office, then say that. You're never going to say that. You're going to use those value stuff and dance around. Right here. Let's see if I can find it. Come on. All right, let's flip this. And
at the
former FBI director. We want to know more about the origin of that document and what it was used for by the FBI. The report.
Where is it?
The C-SPAN networks bring you long-form public.
Clinton said she never sent or received any classified information over her private email. Was that true?
Our investigation found that there was classified information sent.
So it was not true.
Right. That's what I said.
Okay. Well, I'm looking for a little shorter answer, so you and I are not here quite as long. Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails, either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true. There were a small number of portion markings on, I think, 3 of the documents.
Secretary Clinton said, I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
There was classified material emailed.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
Secretary Clinton said neither she nor anyone else deleted work-related emails from her personal account. Was that true?
That's a harder one to answer. We found traces of work-related emails on devices or in Slack space, whether they were deleted or whether when a server was changed out, something happened to them. There's no doubt that there were work-related emails that were removed electronically from the email system.
Secretary Clinton said her lawyers read every one of the emails and were overly inclusive. Did her lawyers read the email content individually?
No.
Well, in the interest of time, and because I have a plane to catch tomorrow afternoon, I'm not going to go through any more of the false statements, but I am going to ask you to put on your old hat. False exculpatory statements, they are used for what?
Well, either for a substantive prosecution or for evidence of intent in a criminal prosecution.
Exactly. Intent and consciousness of guilt, right? Is that right?
Right.
Consciousness of guilt and intent. In your old job, you would prove intent, as you just referenced, by showing the jury evidence of a complex scheme that was designed for the very purpose of concealing the public record. And you would be arguing, in addition to concealment, the destruction that you and I just talked about, or certainly the failure to preserve. You would argue all of that under the heading of content. You would also be arguing the pervasiveness of the scheme, when it started, when it ended, and the number of emails, whether they were originally classified or up-classified. You would argue all of that under the heading of intent. You would also probably, under common scheme or plan, argue the burn bags of daily calendar entries or the missing daily calendar entries as a common scheme or plan to conceal. 2 days ago, Director, you said a reasonable person in her position should have known a private email was no place to send and receive classified information. You're right, an average person does know not to do that. This is no average person. This is a former First Lady, a former United States Senator, and a former Secretary of State that the President now contends is the most competent, qualified person to be president since Jefferson. He didn't say that in 2008, but he says it now. She affirmatively rejected efforts to give her a state.gov account. She kept these private emails for almost 2 years and only turned them over to Congress because we found out she had a private email account. So you have a rogue email system set up before she took the oath of office, thousands of what we now know to be classified emails, some of which were classified at the time. One of her more frequent email comrades was in fact hacked, and you don't know whether or not she was. And this scheme took place over a long period of time and resulted in the destruction of public records, and yet you say there is insufficient evidence of intent. You say she was extremely careless, but not intentionally so. You and I both know intent is really difficult to prove. Very rarely do defendants announce, on this date, I intend to break this criminal code section. Just to put everyone on notice, I am going to break the law on this date. It never happens that way. You have to do it with circumstantial evidence. Or if you're Congress and you realize how difficult it is to prove specific intent, you will formulate a statute that allows for gross negligence. My time is out, but this is really important. You mentioned there's no precedent for criminal prosecution. My fear is there still isn't.
Let's stop right there for the moment. There actually is a president. The president like a year prior. Right here. And a scandalous announcement. I love the way it starts. The scandalous announcement. FBI Director James Comey moments ago said that although there is evidence of a potential violation of statutes regarding the handling of classified information, and he gave extensive evidence of just that, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. He added that prosecutions necessary weigh a number of factors before bringing charges. There are obvious considerations like the strength of the evidence, especially regarding intent. Responsible decisions also consider the context of a person's actions and how similar situations have been handled in the past. Here's the thing. Comey made the point that no reasonable prosecutor would do this. There is no case like this. What is even more shocking is that according to Comey, we cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts. Well, we did. Here is the FBI itself, less than a year ago, charging one Brian Nishimura, 50, of Folsom, who pleaded guilty to unauthorized removal and retention of classified materials without malicious intent. In other words, precisely what the FBI alleges Hillary Clinton did. I am making the point, and I suspect that Meghan McCain is fired up right there, making this point also. You let that woman walk. You gave that woman a pass. You knew she was guilty. You read out her crimes. Trey Gowdy right here is making this case over and over. Did she do this? Yes. Was that a lie? Yes. Was that a lie? Yes. Was that a lie? Yes. And explaining this idea of intent to Comey. Comey is making this impossible hurdle of intent when it's prosecutorial discretion, meaning it's Comey's discretion. Comey's letting her walk. He's giving her a pass. Yes, she did all of these things. If that person's name was Brian Nishimura, she would be convicted. But that person's not Brian Nishimura. That person is Hillary Clinton. And oh my God, she's running for president. And oh my God, I think the other guy's a maniac. And if I get her locked up, maybe Bernie Sanders will lose. I'm just a guy. I'm just head down, FBI agent. I don't have any political allegiances. I just lead by my values. Okay, whatever. I think you coaxed what you needed to do in order to allow that woman to walk. That's what I think. I think you thought Hillary Clinton was going to win the election. That's what I think. I think that you were being rubbed by Loretta Lynch. And why wouldn't you be rubbed by Loretta Lynch on this particular point? The President of the United States put her in office, Barack Obama. I'm pretty sure he full well understood that he didn't want Hillary Clinton to get locked up. That's what I think. I think that's logical as logical could be. I think all incentives go in that very specific direction. Now, the incentives may go in that direction, but you could never say that. I don't care if you can never say that incentives go in that direction. That's the perspective I take of this. I don't think Republicans are crazy for looking at this saying, this smells. It smells like you were in power, your party was in power, and you let that woman walk when you were at control of the helm of the political apparatus. That's what it looks like to me, and I suspect that's strongly what's in Meghan McCain's craw. She's not saying it in this way, but I think that's the way it's coming out. It's like this energy is in you, angry about something, and it comes out in this weird sideways way. That's what I think is taking place with Meghan McCain here. I don't think she's wrong. I don't know what they were talking about prior, but I don't necessarily think she's wrong in making the case. You say you're not a political actor, you sound like a political actor. Because he sounds like a political actor. I will leave it at that. I don't want to keep this one long. 16 minutes, that's not too bad. I will put the link for Meghan McCain going after Comey at the bottom. All right, guys. You all have a good one. I'll see you in a few. Thanks, guys. Oh, by the way, I don't know who's still here, but Jordan Sheridan is coming on to the show at 5 p.m. He is going to be on my other account. I'm going to put that other account at the bottom. That's going to be live at 5 p.m. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks, guys.